You were the first NLP expert I ever met. And the day that I met you was the first day that I met Ben. And I sat in.
I know that.
Yeah. It was the first time I'd met him in person.
Right.
Because Trevor had been working with him.
Right.
And I sat in on the podcast and I listened to you guys talk. And now, mind you, this is in the midst of me being in the fucking grips with depression and anxiety. I mean,
really?
Like in the trenches. You never would have known it. Trevor knew.
Right.
He goes, yeah, we're talking to an NLP expert. I'm like, an NL whaty? Yeah. Yeah. He teaches mind control. He's a mindset coach. I went, oh, what?
Damn.
So I watched you talk and you changed my whole perspective in one podcast.
Beautiful. Well, that makes me happy, but I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's why I was like, wait, you want to do one with me? Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Because you were the catalyst. And you know, I think you and I can both agree with this in a lot of ways too with human beings, is that we all have our own data bank of information. That is true.
100%.
So I think for me, you kind of like hit it, you know, where I was like, oh shit, you're right.
And that's that.
And that's that. And then I took it in. I started looking at I was wrapping up college at the same time, and I started looking at my degree differently. USF St. Pete. I have a degree in digital and media mass communications.
Gotcha.
So I originally went to school for broadcast journalism.
And this is what you ended up doing.
This is what I've evolved into. So I evolved my personal training, which is what I thought I was always going to do, into what I call the other 23. So I coach, I tell people I build humans. Right. And I love that. I incorporate the fitness, I incorporate the nutrition, I incorporate mindset, I incorporate spirituality and the woo, as I call it. So that's kind of what I'm coaching right now. I'm doing and really promoting. And then we have apparel that just dropped, which is all kind of like. So I'll send you a shirt too when we get new stuff.
Thank you. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. You've done it so fast.
No. Feels like forever. Yeah.
But it doesn't, but it's not. What's that? 18 months or something?
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
Life changing, right?
Yeah.
But that shows everyone out there. It's just like, it's that decision. It's that clarity. It's that perspective.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice to live who you really want to be like and experience what you want to be. And people might say that's BS. They might say it's bullshit. They might say it's woo-woo. They might say, oh yeah, but that's the science of the brain, but that's not for me. Right? I mean, what do you say to that?
I say they're so wrong.
So wrong.
And I think that's kind of where the industry is stuck.
In what way? What do you mean?
The health industry in general. I think that people are looking so far this way for all of these answers, be it in a supplement, be it in a type of training or a type of diet or something like that. I'm like, bro, you have all the answers.
Right.
Why are you so focused on what all this is? Because this is going to change. All of this, what you want this to look like, that's going to change. No matter how old you are, whether you have a dick or not, it's going to change.
Sure.
But the brain itself is where it all really begins. And I don't think that we give it enough credit. I don't think that we give it enough credit in the fitness community. I don't think that we give it enough credit in the health and wellness community. And ironically, I really don't think that we give it enough credit in the mental health community. They're like, no, you need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, just understand that meatloaf.
Right.
And you're limitless.
It's true. Absolutely true. I put myself in so much shit over the years, and what builds you out of it and what gets you in it is exactly the same thing. Your brain, right? And it's changing that focus and building the pattern of what we want. And the truth is, I'm old now, but it's like, hey, but when I was younger, it was funny because there was no like before we get caught up in shit. So we deal with our childhood shit, and then we move past the childhood shit, and then it's like my 20s. The 20s for me, I was like, took my martial arts brain with obsessiveness and just knew sales, right? But
yeah.
who you get into, that's why I went neurolinguistics, but who you got taught by really can steer everything. I was taught to sell, I was taught to close, I was taught to read body language, I was taught I was the best in 2 countries, but no one taught me how to look after me. No one taught me how to be happy. No one taught me to, what happens when you don't have anyone around you? You're in massive debt. You've gone through bankruptcy. People have ripped you off. You're living in the basement of an MMA gym. What do people, no one goes, come here, mate. Let's have a little chat, you know?
Nobody goes, you matter. Nobody says that anymore. And that sounds so cheesy. And I hate, because I try to avoid the terms of mind, body, soul. And I actually tell people it's brain, body, and being. You have your brain, which is your 3-pound meatloaf, right? The structure, the physical structure, the neurochemical processes of the brain. And then you have your body, which is your meat suit, which you got to take care of because otherwise you'll die.
You don't want to die yet.
Not yet. You got shit to do. You're not done evolving. Exactly. That's a whole other tangent. But your being, who you really are, and I point to my heart because I feel like that's where he or she hides, within the heart space. And when we're speaking in metaphysics, like they say think in the 5D, right? Like the 5D consciousness. You have 3D right here, you're 4D, you're a little bit more aware, and then you're 5D, you're here. Right. And when you're feeling through it, what you're really going moment to moment, and I think you and I can perceive this because it's almost like we look at life like it's in a Nickelodeon, you know. Absolutely. Like it's one little frame at a time. We're like aware of them as they're happening. Absolutely. So for someone who doesn't know that, it's a little bit different, but what we're really asking is how does it resonate with you in this frame of time?
And yes, and the frame of time is, I love what you brought up, because we can talk about neuroscience with the heart brain, we can talk about heart chakra, we can talk about anything from that concept. But that right there is what people don't get. I teach again to switch off from that amygdala response and move into the heart brain. And the heart brain is communicating with the head that we are safe. And when we come from that place, we are intuitive. When we come from that place, we make rapid, fast decisions. When we come from that place, we don't question it. But then sometimes we wake up and go, fuck, what's going on today? I can't get it together. My brain's everywhere. What the hell's happening here? Right?
So on a tiny sidebar.
Exactly.
Tiny sidebar.
And this was this
morning for me. This was this morning. So over the last few days, I call them dementors, right? Like these fucking looming clouds of obnoxious stuff that has nothing to do with me. It's just
I read your Google Doc why. Your why.
You read my
why. I love it.
Thank you. That's my heart and soul. But like this morning even, and it was interesting because like I woke up at like 5 and Trevor and I were both up and we were like, I don't like today because I don't like today either. And so I was like, I can't fight it and I can't be mad at myself for it. It just is. Right? So what did I do? I cried to a Disney movie at 5 a.m. I didn't go back to sleep.
That works. What movie was it?
Coco.
I haven't seen Coco.
I'm an adult.
No, that's never true, right? We're kids
don't grow up
in an older meat suit, you know?
Oh, it's such a beautiful thing. And I'm sure that we're already like way into this. I'm sure we were going to have like some sort of hard shift into the conversation, but like this is just it, I think, because this is how I operate too.
This is how I operate too. We just talk, right? And then things come out. But it's so funny because I think I stayed young in my head because I watched my dad. Like I've trained with my dad in martial arts since I was 9 years old. My earliest memory is probably like 3-4 months old, watching him fight in competition. So it's always been a thing with my dad. And he comes from such a harsh poverty background in Liverpool, comprehend, like to the point where there's no windows, there's no doors, there's no food, there's no sheets on the bed. They used to sleep on the coats, right? That's poverty. Been very hard for him and his whole family to let that trauma go. And there's a lot of trauma, right? So my dad, from a very early age, I think he was working from 9. And he had to become an adult, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, people, to me, it's like an adult, right? I'm an adult now. You take that weight on, right? It's like a pack. Like, it's like a badge, right? I'm an adult now. I've got to be responsible, got to be firm, got to be this, got to be that. But I watched him do that and still deal with so much pain.
Yeah.
You know, so he took us to a different life. So I didn't experience any of that. But the truth is, he didn't have fun.
Right.
You know, it wasn't present. There wasn't in gratitude. It was always because of the trauma in the back of the head.
Right.
It's always amygdala based, right? It's always fear based. It's always accumulating and gathering to be safe.
Yes.
Right.
And safety is such an interesting thing. So you brought up a couple of things that are really like hitting home for me. So one, I come from a father who he just never grew up. He was like, I'm going to have my toys. I'm going to go skiing. I'm going to go fishing.
I love it.
He and I are spitting images of each other. And I am happy to say that I am his kiddo. But I was just thinking about this yesterday. When I was in college, I took an entrepreneurship class, and it was a class on creativity. And at the time, people were like, there's a class on creativity. Are you kidding me? And
really?
I was one of those people. And I was like, yeah, okay. Come to find out, it was the greatest class I ever took. One of the greatest classes I ever took, because it taught me to be a kid again. Because I too had to grow up at a young age very, very quickly, and then ungrow up. Does that make sense? Which is why I take such pride in saying, oh, I cried to a Disney movie earlier, and that I have a hidden tattoo. You know, because there's magic in youthfulness in the brain. Because when I think about youthfulness in the mind, I'm not just thinking about irresponsibility. I'm not thinking about, going out and drinking with my friends because that's what you do in your 20s to stay a kid. I'm thinking about the brain exercising. I'm thinking about the millions and trillions of neurons that fire in youth and in infancy that somehow stop firing as we grow because we go, no, I'm done growing. I'm good now.
Right.
Which in other words is my evolution is over. And which brings me to earlier in the conversation. So you're dead now? You're done evolving. So you're fucking dead.
Right.
Like that doesn't work. And then when we think about ego, so I just made a video about this, which I'm editing today.
Cool. About
ego versus the soul being. Cool. And ego is like that metaphysical construct of that amygdala brain, right? That reactionary sympathetic brain. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And when we think about the ego, it's so primal. It's like, I just want to keep you alive.
That's all it is, safety.
Yeah. All it's there to do is safety and keep you baseline, which for an athlete, the word plateau is like, shh, don't say that. We don't want a plateau. We don't want to hit a plateau. Right. So the soul being, that real human that you are, that like in here, right, in that heart space, goes, no, fuck plateaus. I want to grow. Give me discomfort. Give me the reps that hurt. Like, give me the extra load. Let's go. And I think that as human beings, where we feel our greatest disconnect or internal dissonance is that conflict between ego and the soul of like wanting to grow and evolve, and the soul saying, or rather the ego saying, no, just remain the same because I know where these reference points lead and that will keep me at homeostasis rather than pursuing discomfort willingly.
Totally. But I love that. I love that definition. I love your funky definitions too. They're cool. They are though. Because everything's spirituality, whether we bring the science in or not, right? And what you're talking about there is growth of neuroplasticity. But and that shows, neuroscience just shows it doesn't matter how old you are. We keep pumping this, we expanding. The oldest people in the world are constantly training their brain. And that's the point, right? But also, when we talk about the ego and the soul, I'll add something to that. Because ego is also attachment.
Yeah.
An attachment to the past, attachment to a concept of the future, attachment to an identity. And ego also is where trauma comes from. Okay. Yeah. So when we look at the concept of, say, doing the reps, right?
Right.
We'll look at what a lot of people are in the personal development industry for sure, but I was really the fitness industry, right?
Right.
It's all ego. It's all identity. It's all bullshit up front. Look how good I look. Well, yes. Okay, let's take you out of this Western world. Let's throw you in somewhere else. You don't look like that in 6 months, right? And take you off all the juice and all the chemicals. You definitely don't look like that in 6 months.
Yeah.
But also, why are they doing it?
Right.
Why are they doing it?
And that's my biggest thing. Why?
Why? What's the purpose? What's the intention? Where is it coming from? Because if we're building from pain, then we're doing those reps, we're going to look a certain way. And that's great. That's called discipline. But it's also, the discipline isn't coming from love. It's not coming from caring. It's not looking, I'm going to show how good a human being can be physically to inspire people. It's not. It's about how many eyeballs can I get on me to prop my self-worth up, because I know it's going to deflate and I know I'm very fragile when I'm on my own. Yes. So when we use a driver, which is pain, which is ego, which is trauma, which is lack of self-worth, then we can create amazing results. But I don't know whether you'll ever truly be at peace and happy.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh my God, you're singing them. I'm like doing my church lady dance over here. I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean. I'm like, yes, preach it. Like, I get it. And that's kind
of you're in that world. You're in that fitness world. You know?
Man, I feel like this is why my particular soul chose this avenue and this modality. So prior to me getting into fitness, I was heavily pursuing acting. I have a whole box of playbills of either ones that I was in, saw, read, like film, theater, you name it. That's what I wanted. But when I was in the audition room, it wasn't about that.
Right.
It was about me. It was about me being better. It was the competitive edge that made me a good athlete and a good, coach and all of that. But that I knew intuitively that wasn't it.
Right.
And I feel personally, because every day when you're talking about waking up and going, oh God, what's going on today? Every single day when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, am I fucking this up yet? Like, did I fuck it up? You know what I mean? Because it's so far-fetched from what anybody is doing in the industry. But in reality, I'm like, doesn't this make the most sense? Even if we're just looking at science, like even just being a decent human alone. Like when I was personal training, I would sit clients down and go, the biggest thing that's going to set me apart from any coach you've ever worked with is that I give a shit. So why did you walk through that door? I'm like, oh, I feel fat. Yeah, bullshit. Why'd you walk through the door?
Right.
And they're like, well, this happened and that happened, or I experienced XYZ trauma and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so why do you actually want to evolve? I'm not asking what do you want to weigh. I'm not asking you what I want your BMI to be. I'm not asking you what calories you should be taking. I'm asking you, who do you want to become? Because the person that you want to become, or the person that you're looking up to be, has always fucking been there. And I think that the disconnect in the fitness industry right now is that coaches go in and they say, look at what I can do.
Yes.
Not look at how we've grown as a team. Right. And really shining that light in the clients first.
Right.
And allowing them to have autonomy over that whole process.
Right.
So
the internal driver, it's an internal driver, and that's the point, right? And that what you've hit on is beautiful, because that goes for entrepreneurship. It goes for everything. Mm-hmm. It's that internal driver. It's like, God, years ago, like we're going back like 14 years ago. I told you I was old.
Yeah.
So it's I used to help a couple of people back in the day. I helped people with smoking cessation, right? And I helped a lady quit smoking who had smoked for 25 years, I think a pack a day. Her husband didn't know That's how clever she was. Like, she used to have routines and this and everything. He didn't know. I don't know how he didn't know. You've got to have known, right? But she said he didn't know. And she tried to quit so many times. Why? Because her husband, like, hated smoking. And that was why she hid from it. But she tried and tried and tried, never got it. I don't know why I brought this up, random example, but
it makes sense.
Well, we got her to quit in a session. One session, 7 days, the nicotine had gone, one session, because we tuned the unconscious. Why? Because the driver inside she was ready. You know what I mean? And that's the thing with everything. I've helped people get over abuse and rape and everything way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
But they were ready, you know? And I feel that's the whole point, right? The old classic saying is take a horse to water, right? But you can't make it drink. But it's the fucking truth.
It's the fucking truth. In a personal trainer's translation, I can give you a protein shake, but I can't make you drink it. Like, you have to take care of yourself. Like, you can't just work out and then look at your coach and be like, am I there yet? Like, you can't do that. There's a responsibility of the client to do the work, and there's a responsibility of the coach to be there, to be authentic, and to do their work to be the best coach that they can be for their client.
I love it. So does this bring up the same thing? This is all about self-worth.
Well, and that's kind of where my brain was going with all of that too, was that self-worth is a big thing for coaches and it's a big thing for clients. And I don't think that if a client were to turn me down on this program because I'm not a personal trainer, that they would still hire me and be successful if I was.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Essentially, I am used to, now, okay, let me back this up. I love personal training.
Yeah, you seem to.
I loved it. It's my everything. But it wasn't doing the most amount of work or giving the most beneficial results that I possibly could to my client.
Right.
And for the sheer simple fact that every time they would come in and they're working out and their trap is in spasm because they have emotional trauma that's resonated in the trap, that their range of motion is being compromised. So then we're taking the whole session to talk about whatever happened that put that there.
Right.
And then they leave and they're either A, not believing that they're worth it enough to take the other steps, or B, think that they have to have somebody else give them a green light or a go ahead to give a shit about themselves. And I think it's so human. I say we're all human as fuck. Like, we're just trying to figure shit out as we go. We're just human. And I think that even just giving someone the permission, like I had a call before I hopped on with you, and I said, you're allowed to feel that. Like, do you know that? And he goes, no, I know. I'm like, no. Do you know that? It's like, yeah. Like, you can be angry. You can be upset. You can be anxious. You can be heartbroken. You can be in mourning. And you can still evolve. And you can choose to be a better version of yourself.
Right.
You know, I think that's where I was going with the entrepreneurship class, because back when I was acting, I was doing improv. And
okay.
Yeah, I did a lot of improv.
It all links
makes
together.
sense, doesn't it?
Makes sense.
Yeah, degree in digital and media mass communications and a fucking shitload of improv. But my favorite thing about improv is that you never knew what you were going to get. You didn't know the person you were going to be doing a scene with, and you just had to roll with it.
Right.
And your brain had to be quiet so that you could receive whatever's being offered to you, and that you could offer in the appropriate time frame and with the appropriate dialogue for what's being offered to you.
Gotcha.
So the first thing that they teach you in improv at all is you don't negate. Rule number one is you don't negate. You don't say no. So if you came up to me and you're like, hi, I'm Andy and I'm holding a smoothie, and I go, no, it's not. That's a dog. You're like,
Right, okay, you just gotta go with it.
Shot to shit. Yes, and to everything. Yes, I'm feeling like garbage and I can still pursue happiness. Right. Yes, I've been through shit and I can evolve. Yes, I feel fat, but I'm gonna build some muscle. You know? yes, and yes, and yes, and to everything.
Where did this all begin with you? Like let's rewind. We're gonna do the cliff notes on this one, but but you know what I mean? We got to look at where you come from, and you're on my show, so I want to know. And hey, we've only got to hang out once before properly, you know. So I get
what are the odds, man?
Yeah, that's right. One day, randomly there, right? Yeah, I haven't seen Ben in ages either. So you go there all the time, MI40, right? So
that's like where I live.
Yeah.
My family's there.
Yeah, exactly. So what was the reason that you wanted to do acting?
I loved humans.
You just wanted to be around them?
I loved the stories. And I think on a much deeper level, and we can talk about in this line of dialogue, because, you know, this isn't like something I could normally talk to people about, but I think that there was a lot that I was processing that I didn't know how to, and filling my days up with expressive activities that were creative, that were allowing me to exercise my brain when it was being faced with a lot of blockages of self-doubt, of fear, of trauma, of high levels of anxiety. Being able to stand in someone else's shoes and share a story and express emotion was often the only time that I was really an emotional human being. I was always very nurturing. I was always very caring, but I was also highly conditioned to believe that I was a bother.
You believed you were what?
A bother, like that I was a nuisance, that I was too loud, too expressive, too excited about life, too creative, too. So when I was acting, like I took my acting stuff, like most kids when they're in high school, they're like, I'll do a play, I'll do this. I'm like, no. I was in the film program. I was doing student films. I was like, you know, doing improv. I was competing. I was doing national level competitions for film and theater. Like I was that's all I wanted.
Right.
And I think what I loved most about that was the storytelling aspect, because that is so primally human, that I think we're being offered a new opportunity in this evolution of our society with social media and with Netflix. And you really see Netflix doing it too, going, nobody else is telling these stories, so we will.
Yeah.
They've, you know, expanded their catalog by millions, right?
Right.
But when I think about it in the terms of social media, I think about the next phase of human evolution, which can't happen without storytelling, which can't happen without sharing and love and connection. And
right.
So I think that's kind of how all of those things evolved. And in that regard, as far as acting, because you really couldn't share any stories without tapping into your own. And I think that there is something so beautifully human about just connecting over a story or a similarity or a life experience, you know?
Gotcha. So primal. It's so primal. Storytelling, right? And even in sales and presentation, it goes straight into the unconscious mind, right? So that's why we share stories. And the thing is, it's like, it is a very American thing. Did you know that? Yeah.
Oh, acting?
No, sharing stories.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm learning something.
You Yanks, you know? It's true though. Very American thing. Like you ask a Brit, like I've been away a long time now, but I go back and ask a Brit, what's your story? They think you're either trying to start a fight. It's like, what's your story? What's your story? It's like, it's not going inside and going, do you know what? I've been through such trauma. It's like, it's not that. It's like, what's your story? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's an American thing.
Yeah.
And whether that comes from, I don't know, America's I love because it's got like this innate entrepreneurial side of it.
Yeah.
Meaning like it's not that in every culture. Understand that. Like it's even in Britain, for example, there's a hierarchy. And the hierarchy is that's the queen, you're all not. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
And how did America get started? Well, the maniacs from Europe who were just like fearless and crazy, just got on a boat and went, we're off. Where are you going? Over there. What's over there? Don't know. Just, you're going to die? Maybe. We're off. You know what I mean? And then you go and travel to a different fucking country and then kill everyone, right? And then
yeah, that's kind of how that happens.
That's exactly. And then set up shop and then build a society. It's like that gene is so through America. That's the American dream, right? Yeah. But that genetic code, it's so involved in the US. So everybody wants to grow. But that's a beautiful thing because everyone wants to grow. Everyone wants to get better. That's why personal development and growth and everything in the US is so big, because everyone, I believe, has been brought into the culture, or they have part of the genetics. And the thing is about that, the US is, Australia's got a little flavor of that. But the UK and Europe, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And you're like the new wave of coming through of these people sharing this message. I love it. That's my whole point to that rant.
Thank you. No, I think there's something really magical about vulnerability, and I didn't think that there was. And people would, like, when I was acting, my mom or coaches or directors or whatever, they would be like, "Oh my God, you're so vulnerable. Like, I love your vulnerability." I'm like, "Ma, what now? What? Cozy Wani?
I got Tourette's. What's going on?"
Yeah, I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about. It's not me." But it is. And that's all I started doing on social media was going, well, I'm getting my degree in communications, and they say that we can't not have social media, and there's all these people that aren't being heard or spoken to and that feel like they're crazy. So I feel like I'm crazy, so I'm going to share my story and see if anybody like resonates with it, and maybe they'll feel less crazy. And then this whole craziness happened out of it.
And you hitting 50,000 followers in a short period of time. I mean, what was it's beautiful. You got a lot of eyeballs on you.
Watching I know.
You made it. You
did it. I do this. I'm like, no, everybody like.
You did it. And then, so how it literally grew was you just hammering Insta stories and lives and connecting. And is there a strategy with hashtags? Is there a strategy with any of that stuff? Or was it just pure, like you just hammering?
I love that question so much because I get it a lot. And I think because here's the real question. This is either going to make people really mad or.
Is that really old picture pop up?
Sorry. Oh God, no.
It did. It popped up. That was transition.
That was the third shoot I ever did for BMAC Fit, that photo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I've been modeling for like a decade. So weird kind of thing. Yeah.
Things shifted.
Yeah. I don't know. Thank you. I feel very blessed.
Oh, of course.
There's a doggy. She's gonna hang out on the counter. That's an American thing. I think I lost my train. Okay, you asked me about the strategy. So
yes,
my social strategy is okay, so let me back it up this way. I sat down one day and I had two of my dearest friends in the world who were clients of mine at the time. And I sat them down and we had a joint going around the living room. And I had my whiteboard out and I went, "What the fuck do we do in the gym?"
Right.
Like, it's not the workout. There's more to it than this. And so we found this collective resonance with what was going on, which was the other 23, right? And this concept of a mafia that, like, once you're in for life, and you get immediate brothers and sisters that are there to support you.
Awesome.
So beyond that, when I really started sharing more and I was like, well, who am I talking to? Because I don't want to just buckshot everything. Like, when I was in high school, like I didn't have a lot of friends. I still don't. I have like 5 that I like, that I want to surround myself with. So I'm like, there's no way that I'm talking to all 50,000 people.
Right.
No way. And there's no way in hell that I can even sit here and pretend that I have it all figured out and that I have all the answers. So who am I talking to? And I put that in writing, and I figured out who that person was. And I realized through a lot of it that I was talking to people that were a lot like my clients, but really just it evolved into this demographic that I didn't even know was there. And I have dominantly male clients as an online coach, because the men are they're willing and safe enough to ask for help when it's remote, but in person, that wasn't so much the case. And their results are off the chain.
That's badass, because they take action.
Yes. And they're allowed to be nurtured and to experience emotional thought without judgment. So that was the big thing. The other thing was that I was like, okay, well, if I want this to be a personal brand, because at first I was like, okay, I'm just going to say personal training, right?
Right.
And I'll do X, Y, Z, or I really want to know the science, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And then I really like thought about it, and I was like, who do I want to look up to? Because it's not these bitches online. They're a mess. They have no clothes on. They're oily. They're messy. They're slutty. I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
Who do I want to look up to? Right. And so like that acting side came in where I was like, okay, well, what would this character look like, and how would she talk? And, you know, that's who I would step into when I was doing my photo shoots, because there was no way Mac was going to get up there and start posing and say that she's feeling sexy or feeling herself or anything like that. It's got to be B-Mac. Like B-Mac goes up there and she's a fine ass bitch and she's got her shit together and whatever, only to find out, tying in the spiritual, that B-Mac Fit as the character, the avatar online, is the illustration of my higher self.
Interesting. That's the full you.
Yeah. When I am fully aligned and in love with, I will fucking say that. In love with myself and believing in my dreams and my goals and my aspirations that I've been taught to question, like so many of us have, then I can really make shit happen, you know? And then it forces me to ask, you know, is this something that you're proud of? Is this a choice that you're proud of? Is this something that higher self, that king or queen within all of us would say, good job, fist bump.
Right.
You know, and that goes down to what I eat, managing my supplementation, the way that I approach my workouts, the way that I handle myself in public, even does it line up with that? Or is it not below it, but is it misaligned with that?
Congruence.
Yes.
That's everything. That's everything. Yeah. Because we know that the intuition, our gut feeling, our heart centeredness is the thing that guides us. Like, it's like whether science is caught up with this yet, it's just what it is, right? It's just what it is. And the truth is, I got told this, maybe 15 years ago by a guy in New Zealand called Terry the Hippie. That's what I used to call him, right? He was like my first intro to so much. Those guys expanded my brain, like, oh my God. And in lots of different ways. And And then, but he was like, Andy, the truth is, you don't need to know a single thing. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Because you don't need to know anything. You just need to be so connected with and trust your intuition and your gut. I said, what are you talking about? Because you could walk down the road. How many times you walk down the road and you look at someone and you just feel a pull, just connected, just there's something. Why are they standing out from the crowd? Yeah. Well, because what would happen is most people, 99.99% of people carry on walking. But what would happen if you went over and spoke to them and introduced?
That's literally how I live my life.
You don't know what's going to happen, right? You don't know what's going to happen, right? Good or bad, right? But if it's coming from you, it's probably good. But the truth is, he says that person will open an idea, a conversation, an opportunity, a connection, and it will lead you to the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. And if that's all you do in life and you enjoy that ride, there's nothing else to do.
I feel like when we're talking about metaphysical too, because it's such a huge part of who I am for so many reasons.
Everything.
When we think about that, like all they want us to do is have fun. They just want us to enjoy it. They're like, have fun when you're not feeling good, have fun when you're feeling great, you know, like have great sex, eat great food, work hard. Like that's all, like if we're talking about the universe or whatever you want to call it, that universal energy that connects all of us, that's all it wants us to do, is enjoy the ride.
It does.
And I think if we all stop putting up those blocks that are really unnecessary, you know, we could have so much more fun.
It's just true. But isn't that the point? I call Earth like a boot camp. Boot camps are horrible. They're horrible. They're intense. You make you want to cry, all of this stuff. But the truth is, a boot camp gets you a result very fast.
Yes.
And if this Earth was just designed for our own soul's evolution, then we've come here for an intense boot camp, right?
Right.
And if all that we're doing is trusting our intuition, our guidance, the images that pop up, the words that we hear when we're talking to someone, the ideas, if we just follow that, then everything flows. But like we were talking about before with the ego, that's just earthbound, right?
Yeah.
So the whole point here is like people talk about killing the ego, right?
No, you can't do that. You need it.
There you go, right? Beautiful.
You need it to survive.
That's the point, right? Can't kill your ego. Your ego is like chopping your leg off, right? It's a part of you.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to use it.
Yeah.
You know, we have to learn how to use it. And when we do, then we become Mac Fit.
Oh, it's that. Yeah.
Hey.
It's true. I just tell people that, like, okay, so this is like the perfect metaphor, I think, to tie all of this together. So I'm a big nerd, shocking. And recently, for the first time, I saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I swear this is related. Did you see it?
No, not yet.
Okay, so you're going to watch it when we're done. And whoever's listening to this is going to go watch it because it's the greatest movie I've seen all year. Basically, Spider-Man gets split into all of these different types of people, right? Like there's a girl, there's like an African-American Spider-Man, and there's a white Spider-Man, and then there's a fat, drunk, divorced Spider-Man.
Oh, that's funny.
It's hilarious. The message of it all is that it doesn't matter where you are, who you are, where you're from. You don't need a spider to bite you. You don't need a tesseract to be in your hand. The fact of the matter is that we are all Spider-Man. We're all Avengers in our own right. We all have our own superpowers. We all have our own gifts to offer this world that's going to make it better. And there's going to be people in our path, whether they be someone that you see on the street or someone that's in your Avenger squad, right, of aligned human beings that are going to make you level up. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. And if we looked at everybody like that, you know, every single person comes into our life at the exact moment for the exact lesson for our own growth. If we understood that and we trusted that in every moment, damn.
That's where the magic hides.
Right?
That'd be all the magic hides.
Yes. It is though. I used to say this a lot years ago, and I probably should again. I used to meditate and move into something I used to call the frequency of magic.
Oh, I love that.
I did. I used to sit there all the time and just vibrate into this feeling of the frequency of magic. And it's like, whether that's, again, we can go deep down the rabbit hole with all of this. We'll bring you on for part 2 when we can. So but the frequency of magic, I really believe we are harmonic.
We are.
You know? And that's it. And we're harmonic. And we just, I teach this, like, and I'm so deep into the science of the brain and stuff, but there's so many more components to life, right? And that's why I love what you're doing. That's why I wanted you on.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, you're kicking ass. And then, but I really believe we're harmonics, and there is only love and fear. That's it. High vibration.
On a spectrum, right?
Yeah, on a spectrum.
On a sliding
spectrum. Yeah, there is only fear and love. And now there's all these emotions in between, but they are just fear and love. High frequency, low frequency, light, dark, love, fear, right?
And
joy, happiness. Yeah. Joy, happiness, excitement, passion, all of that is high vibration. Tune in for. Ding. The world, the universe is magnetic.
Yes, it is.
Plain and simple, right? So however we are being, ding, 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 pulls to us. And what feels nice? Does not feel nice.
That doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. So the only mission in life is to adjust our frequency, tune into our intuition, so we're guided to what we're supposed to do. Then the fear will go away. Does that mean from your side the money will come now?
What do you mean?
Well, meaning that, because people out there, this is the question I know they'll be asking, right? Yeah, that all sounds very good. We're building business. You're trying to be a hippie. I get it, Andy, right? I get it, Mac. I get it. But does that mean I'm going to be financially okay?
Do you want to know my answer to that?
Yes, I do.
Fuck yes. If you trust yourself enough to do it. Right. If you stop putting up the blockages of, well, yeah, but what if? Yeah, but. Stop saying but. Stop saying what if, and just do, and trust yourself, not the external, because the external will reveal itself in its own time. Exactly. But trust in you, fall in love with your process, whatever that is, right? In athletic terms, like love your sport, whatever it is, if it's bodybuilding, if it's boxing, if it's CrossFit, love it, do it, give your all to it, but fucking trust it.
I love that. That might be a place to wrap up today, hey?
I love it.
We can keep going and going.
This made my whole day. And I believe in, even though my explanations aren't, I do believe in short and sweet. I'm just so grateful to you for having me on and for being the human that you are, and for setting your frequency where you did, because it allowed me to find mine. So thank you.
That's really beautiful. Appreciate it. I appreciate you too. And this is always, it's amazing to spend some time together and have a chat. Yeah, get to know each other. When we're in Tampa, we'll hang out, you know? And any words of wisdom you want to leave the Mindset by Design crew with? And where can they find you the best? Words of wisdom. Yeah. Mind control t-shirt. Massive clap of thunder comes over as you say that. Oh, really? I'm in Tampa. Yeah. The big one for me is that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. It sounds very cheesy, but it's very true. The other thing is, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick to yourself. Don't be a dick to others. Just resonate with truth and with love, and then through love you will find truth. If you're interested in, or whoever's listening to this or is interested in connecting with me as a human, real human connection, you can just DM me on Instagram. I'm at BMacFit, BEMACFIT. And Mac, I've evolved into an acronym, which is Motivated, Authentic, and Conscious. So when you read it across, it's Be Motivated, Authentic, and Consciously Fit. Love it. Love it, so, love it, love it. I'm going to put links everywhere for you, so it's all good. They'll find you. But Mac, love you. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.